Good afternoon and a warm welcome. You're watching Education News Network, and today we're bringing to you a new topic of discussion, that is the plight of school management during the pandemic. And for that, we have with us a panel of eminent personalities from the education fraternity who will be joining us in our panel discussion today. So let's welcome our first panelist of the day. We have Mr. Srinivas Kuppa, the Vice President of Srimati Kamalabai Educational Institution for Strategy, Design and Implementation. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome. We're so glad to have you here today.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on board.
Our next panelist is Dr. Sarada Chandrasekaran, the Director of Whitefield Global School, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Our next panelist is Dr. Kulbhushan Sharma, the President of National Independent Schools Association. He is an activist with expertise on bringing solutions for private schools of India, particularly for affordable private schools. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Lastly, we have Mr. Bharat Malik, a well-known educationist and entrepreneur. His contribution to the field of education in Mumbai can be seen through the Education Today Foundation and Arya Global, which has a number of schools and preschools under its banner. Welcome you, sir. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. So to discuss our topic for today, let's invite our first panelist, Mr. Srinivas. Sir, could you please tell us about the topic, the plight of school management during the pandemic?
Actually, I have a little bit of trouble with the topic itself. Not the topic, but the first word, plight. I think this, this is more of an opportunity for the management rather than a plight. I was just, before this discussion, we were having a small side talk, and Mr. Kulbhushan sir made a very pertinent point. This is an opportunity for us to change education, and I think as management of schools, we have greater responsibility to usher in sweeping changes into the way we do education, and this is a moment of truth for us. I do foresee short to medium term, there will be a lot of pain in terms of admissions, etc. But the longer term view is extremely optimistic. I foresee that there will be a new, to use the word, a new normal, where children will really get the kind of attention that they would need, which was not possible now. And I think we will be more attentive to their needs by looking at a curriculum that's extremely child-centered. So in my opinion, we are looking at a short to medium term of pain, but a longer term optimistic outlook for the entire education field itself, especially for schools.
All right, thank you, sir. So can we have Dr. Sarada Chandrasekaran speak about the topic, please?
Thank you, Nitya. Actually, I second what Mr. Srinivas said, but I want to say a little more about it, that when you said plight,
Right.
I remembered this small saga we had when we went to Gujarat, Dwarka. We wanted to go to the other side of the ocean to see some small island, and only one boat was going. And when we all got into the boat, the boatman was praying, and everybody laughed, saying that actually we should pray now, but none of us prayed. We went to the center of the sea, and then the boat started rocking terribly. Then everyone started praying, but he was very busy actually rowing the boat. Everyone asked, why are you not praying now? He said that if I keep praying, then who will make the boat float? Now, this is the plight of the management, that when the whole journey of the schooling starts for the children, everybody has their own doubts about the school. At the same time, they also have some kind of imaginations about the schools and perspectives about the school. But when the boat starts rocking, they will start suspecting the schools. They will start suspecting the leaders. They'll start suspecting the whole system called schools. Thanks to pandemic, that the schools ability has been taken to the bedrooms, and people could see what the schools can do. All the progressive schools, good job we all have done. And we also understood how to fly constantly, like the Jonathan Livingston Seagull, that we have no branch to perch on. We are flying and flying and flying in COVID, and our wings have become very strong. But yeah, this is a positive one as well as negative one, because there are a minuscule percentage of the parents who are not trusting us, a very minuscule. Major chunk of them are trusting us. The trust must come from all the stakeholders, inclusive of government, that the private schools are doing a fantastic job and they are paying through their nose everywhere, inclusive of the taxes, inclusive of the maintenance, that the rentals, everything they do it in a commercial way. So private schools are not here to make money, but private schools are actually doing a fantastic service of spreading education, knowledge, taking the knowledge to the bedrooms. Overnight, we have switched over to the online learning. The best modules were taken, the best networks and best softwares is taken by the schools. So progressive schools have taken it up. One size doesn't fit all, one cap doesn't fit all. So do not treat everybody with the same measurement. Yeah, there were some schools who could not do well, but they had their own problems. But when you call it a school, it is a temple of learning, and it is a trust which makes it learning. Every stakeholder must have the trust. Then this Jonathan Livingston's seagull will keep flying, will not look for a branch to perch on. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. So Dr. Kulbhushan Sharma, can you take us through the plight of school management during the pandemic? Do you see it as plight?
कि मेरा कथन जो है थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट है, क्योंकि नीसा जो है बजट प्राइवेट स्कूल्स और प्राइवेट स्कूल्स का एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जिसमें हम मोर देन 1 लाख स्कूल्स के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। इस कोविड के दौरान जो हमें महसूस हुआ कि ठीक है, स्कूल्स ने बहुत तेजी से जो है ऑनलाइन टीचिंग को पकड़ा और ऑनलाइन टीचिंग्स में पूरे जोर से जो है बच्चों के साथ जो है काम करना शुरू किया। लेकिन जो मैं एक बात बताना चाहूंगा कि 70% स्कूल्स ऐसे हैं इंडिया के अंदर जो 1000 से कम फीस पे चलते हैं, और वो उतनी बेटर, चाहे हम कुछ भी कहें, कि एजुकेशन डिलीवर नहीं कर पाए। ओनली जो एक हाई एंड स्कूल्स की बात जो आती है, जहां से डिलीवरी अच्छी हुई है, जहां एजुकेशन में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आई है, और उसको आप अपॉर्चुनिटी सबके लिए कह सकते हैं कि अपॉर्चुनिटी आई कि सब ने ऑनलाइन जो है करने की कोशिश की। लेकिन देश की एजुकेशन जो है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से हम सब ने प्रेज भी की, हम बोलने में कहीं ना कहीं संकोच कर जाते हैं। शिक्षक गवर्नमेंट की कहीं प्रायोरिटीज में नहीं आई, जिससे देश के मेजॉरिटी ऑफ स्कूल्स को इस सिचुएशंस में मैनेजमेंट्स को, स्कूल्स को और बच्चों को लर्निंग लॉस हुआ है, जिसको वर्ल्ड बैंक ने भी कुछ महीने पहले $400 बिलियन का आंका है। तो हम इसको बहुत खुलकर जब हम बात करते हैं तो हमें बात करनी चाहिए कि मेजॉरिटी ऑफ कंट्री के स्टूडेंट्स पे इसका क्या फर्क पड़ा, मैनेजमेंट्स पे क्या फर्क पड़ा। बहुत सारे मैनेजमेंट स्कूल्स बेच रहे हैं, बहुत सारे, राजस्थान के विधानसभा में ये बात आई कि 10 स्कूल ऑनर्स ने सुसाइड भी कर लिया। तो ये अपॉर्चुनिटी भी बना, लेकिन बहुत ज्यादा बच्चों का जो लर्निंग लॉस हुआ, और गवर्नमेंट ने जो इसके बारे में कोई भी प्लानिंग नहीं की और इसको एसेंशियल सर्विसेज में नहीं लिया, इससे एक लर्निंग लॉस इस दौरान जो बढ़ा है उसकी भरपाई कई सालों तक नहीं हो पाई।
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bharat Malik, I invite you to speak on the topic, please.
Yeah, my personal experience says you can rate it as an opportunity. At the same time, you have to understand the situation where schools have been very badly affected also. Now, I have schools which are budget school where the fees is less than 700-800 rupees. And there are schools where the fees is around about 60,000-70,000 rupees. Now, wherever adaptability was to happen, in the places where resources were there, adaptability took very, very quick. I would like to say that we were the first school where we got in 48 hours, we conducted online examination with the consent of the parents on Microsoft Teams. I mean to say we had Microsoft with us 2 years back and we were able to adapt the things. But in the places and the school where the parents had no resources of instruments, had no resources of internet. So the situation overall in the country has been very, very, pathetic. Like basically, I would like to say, let us take the case of government schools. The learning output there, we do not know. But I used to earlier criticize government teachers, but now have stopped because I got information that more than 3,000 government teachers have died in COVID, taking and doing survey for the government. So just imagine that teachers were used for different objectives, and how many good teachers we have lost. Teachers have gone and have taken up any profession, whereas NAP is talking about upgrading teachers, has been talking about learning outputs, but what have we given to our teachers? I'm so concerned about my teachers. I would like to say that the first thing I did with my limited resources was to bring teachers back on a 100% salary, which I started from January, and I committed to them that I will pay them their arrears also. So it's all a commitment and the trust, which is very important. So we at a private sectors with resources could do, but the plight of millions of students going out of education is a real story, which we all should be concerned. As Indian, we should be really concerned that so many learning outputs have been stopped. And after not having examination, again, we showed that we don't have trust in the system. Our system should be trusted. We should have given the teachers to do assessment. Continuous assessment has been a pattern which we have been practicing. They should have respected the teachers and said, please conduct your examination and give children a real good learning outputs, and they should be able to assess and they should know where I stand. With this situation, postponing the examination, not having examination, talks how we have failed. In 365 days, we could not plan to have an online examination for our nation. That's my concern, that we still have to work day and night to think how we can bring all the students back to the learning process. That's my thing, which I believe we all should think about it and ponder about.
Thank you, sir. So moving on to our questions, Dr. Sharda, I would like to ask you the question, because we hear parents and everyone speak about how unprofessional the online classes have been during the pandemic, right? But no one really talks about how it's going for the management, how the situation has been for the management. So are there any key points you'd like to highlight in this context?
Definitely, because I'm talking about a progressive school and a school which is serving to the higher middle class people. So normally the schools depend upon the fees which comes in, and when the fee doesn't come in time, like Bharat Malik sir said, we need to pay the teachers, and we paid our teachers 100% salary from the day one. The entire year, we never deferred on salaries. Not a single month, single time we deferred. So arranging for the finances and taking care of every payment and maintenance of the buildings, maintenance of the entire infrastructure, as well as the software systems. These all taken a lot of toll on the management. And every minute, all of us had to be on toes. All of us had to be discussing with each other, made a strong team so that we stand with each other in such a crisis. And any parent who approached us with a real problem, we stood with the parent, we supported the parent. We in fact supported them to the maximum, that whoever approached us, that, okay, we will stand with you, that do not worry about the payment of the fees. But when we gave such an leverage to the parents, that means that we also had to make enough of work, enough of support for our financial systems, which was a big challenge for all of us. But we stood strong, and it was a challenge. And mainly the minuscule percent of parents who started questioning the schools about the fee collection was a big challenge for all of us, because it's a small minuscule. It's only 0.1% of the parent who questioned. But this 0.1% were like biting us like a red ant, like it was hurting us, that when we have done so much, why are we answering the parents? But of course, it's part of life that we will never get 100% support from all. So we went ahead. Yes, this coming year is again going to become a challenge, because we are going to continue with the online for at least the next 6 months. So as everybody expressed that the learning gaps will be there, learning gaps comes to the children who are not able to access the online mode. Second thing is the parents who are not able to sit with the children. For them also, schools like us are giving an extra service, but not all are getting. So as a management, we are looking, thinking progressively, and for that thinking, we are seeking the help of all the experts in this field, so that we will be updated constantly. And every time we do such kind of a task, we have to shell out money. So money is very important. It is not that the schools are collecting fees and pocketing, but every penny they collect, they are giving it back. That everybody must understand. And a teacher is a teacher, and teacher has to be paid full salary. She has to be respected. She or he should be respected, and she or her service have to be really respected and enhanced through multiple trainings, and every training comes with the money. There is vitamin M at every part of the schooling, and that vitamin M nobody gives to the management. The management has to take it through the fees. So the land is there, so the buildings are rented, everywhere money is there. That is how the schools function. And I wanted everyone to understand that do not ask the questions that you are taking money. You are getting the worth of that money through your child's learning. It is a mutual understanding, and it is only the trust which makes the entire learning happen. If the school and the parents trust each other, the learning becomes the best. And that trust, some people have lost, and the schools are striving hard to build back the trust.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Mr. Srinivas, Dr. Sharda just mentioned the maintenance costs of the infrastructure and all of that. So could you tell us how difficult that was for you during the pandemic? Handling the maintenance costs.
Yeah. Yes. So Nitya, you've been to our school. So, so ours is a 90-year-old school spread over a lot of acres. And, we have to maintain there are fixed costs associated with maintaining the campus, whether you have a 2-acre campus or a 20-acre campus. Your fixed costs are fixed costs. They are not going to change. Whether you have students inside the campus or not, the costs remain. And that became a fundamental challenge with parents early on. So, we started getting a lot of questions from the parents saying that, if my child is not utilizing the playground, why should I pay the fee?
Correct.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So, and but then they don't realize that the teacher who needed 1 hour for preparation for a class now needs 3 hours.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the teachers now they were working till midnight. They were almost working 14 to 16 hours every day. Right. So technology was not something that they were used to. They jumped onto the technology, and hats off to all the teachers who, in spite of all the limitations, that continue to do a great job. But so the question is, when we have a certain amount of fixed costs which are not negotiable, parents also have to realize this. From our side, we have been very, very transparent, telling them that these are our costs, and we are a very public spirited school, right? So, but even then, we still have to maintain our campus. And as Mrs. Sharda said, there's a cost associated to it. And the cost comes only through our fee. We don't have any other means of income. We don't rent our auditorium for the movies, etc. So we need the fee, and we need the fee to maintain our campus. We need the fee to pay our salaries. And initially, we had a lot of battles with the parents because, as ma'am was saying, there was a lot of trust deficit. But over a period of time, when they saw the results of the effort that the teachers had put in to teach their children, I think over a period of time, we kind of won them over. Yeah, so I think transparency is the key to in all these matters. We don't use a library, we don't use the sports ground, we don't use the lab. So why should I pay for it? This is not a sabzi mandi, right? Where you can go and talk about these things. It's a schooling system. Right. So there's a difference.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So my next question is to Mr. Bharat Malik. Sir, could you tell us how challenging was it to retain your employees and support them during the pandemic? And I don't mean just the financial aspect, because you mentioned that you've been giving 100% salaries to your teachers. But can you highlight on the mental health aspect?
Yeah, coming to the real story, that when this situation happened and we were in the process of adaptability to the new change, this was a time where everybody became a learner. Practically every person became a learner, and this learning process went on to each one. Parents have learned, children have learned, teachers have learned, and I salute my teachers because this was the time where she was playing multiple roles. She was a mother at home. She was cooking for the family. She was teaching the children of the school. She was adapting. She was learning technology. And with all the stress, and we all know that we were in a society where people are not allowed to visit. So they had to do a lot of things. So I once again take this opportunity of saluting all my teachers. And we took care. We had a helpline for our teachers where they could come. We have a counselors. They took help. We gave our counseling help to our parents also, because parents were also going through a very difficult task. I would also like to say that we had a ARPM, that is annual review meet, where we had breakdown, breakthrough, break free, a one-day workshop for all our teachers, where we explained that how we have gone through different phases. And now we have to move a breakdown, when we come to break free is a time where we have to think that we have to work on a hybrid model where school has to come out with a uniqueness. And as I mentioned to you, there were certain areas which I still have to pay my teachers. I have told them that now is a time that where we will have to be on a hybrid model. So let's buy a laptop collectively, because at that time we didn't have the instruments. So we told teachers to upgrade their skills. We are helping a teacher to buy the best of laptop at a very good price. So all this initiative plus a counselor plus a helpline, and we also had a helpline for medical for our teachers and their families. So these are the initiatives which took, and mental health was the most important factor because everybody was in some type of depression. People didn't know what's going to happen next. Uncertainty was so much that the only thing, as I was telling my earlier friends, that I don't discuss on this topic much with people because it drains out your energy. It's better to talk about positive stories and positive energy which we pass to the society and the community, so that we can come over and face the challenge. And believe me, I would like to say we had first time in our life, I will send you the story. We had an award function for our teachers, and we made that award function like Education World, your program. We had entire thing so beautifully done. They took their selfies, they took their photos, they took their certificates, and they were so happy that they were acknowledged at the end of the day. So I basically think this has given the first time in 32 years of being in this field that we had an award function for all our teachers. And one more function. So we did all this because we wanted to encourage them and give them that feeling, that it's all because of you that children and the learning process has been continued. Without that, it would have been impossible. Once again, saluting all my teachers and people in this field who have done a great job for the community.
Thank you, sir. That was a lovely initiative, I must say. So, Dr. Kulbhushan, as management, what's the trickiest situation with parents that you've come across during the pandemic? I mean, I'm sure there are many situations you might have been in, but could you give us one instance, please?
देखिए, पेरेंट्स के साथ सबसे बड़ी सिचुएशन क्या क्रिएट हुई मैनेजमेंट की, मैं खासकर बजट प्राइवेट स्कूल्स की बात करूंगा। जैसे अभी मैम ने बताया कि 1-2% पेरेंट्स जो हाई एंड स्कूल के थे उनको थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी, लेकिन जो बजट प्राइवेट स्कूल्स और जो देश के 80% से ज्यादा स्कूल्स को स्टूडेंट्स को कैटर कर रहे हैं, उनकी प्रॉब्लम क्या आई? उनके लिए प्रॉब्लम एक माइंडसेट बन गया कि स्कूल को फीस नहीं देनी। अब स्कूल को फीस नहीं देनी, स्कूल ने बिल्कुल एकदम अपने आप को टर्न किया, बिल्कुल तैयार किया, जबकि उनके टीचर्स भी उतने टेक्नोलॉजी फ्रेंडली नहीं थे जितने हाई एंड स्कूल के थे, इतने क्वालिफाइड नहीं थे। उसके बावजूद उन्होंने तुरंत अपने आप को टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ जोड़ा और जितनी भी हिम्मत से कर सकते थे। दूसरा, उनको मैं यहाँ भी ये भी मेंशन करना चाहूंगा कि जैसे आया कि भी 100% सैलरी मलिक साहब ने भी दी और बाकी स्कूल्स में भी दी, तो जब बजट स्कूल्स के साथ सिचुएशन आई, बहुत सारे टीचर्स ने अपना जॉब खोया, बहुत सारे ने 50% पे काम किया और बहुतों ने बिना पैसे के भी काम किया। तो ऐसे टीचर्स को मैं सबसे ज्यादा कोविड वॉरियर कहूंगा, जिन्होंने बिना पैसे के बजट स्कूल्स में टेक्नोलॉजी फ्रेंडली ना होते हुए, और पेरेंट्स की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या थी, वो ऑनलाइन क्लासेस को अटेंड ही नहीं करना चाहते थे। उनको लगता था कि अगर ऑनलाइन क्लासेस अटेंड करेंगे तो फीस देनी पड़ेगी, तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम जिससे जो बजट प्राइवेट स्कूल्स और खासकर इंडिया के मेजॉरिटी सेक्टर को ये जो प्रॉब्लम आई, और जो गवर्नमेंट से हम बार बार डिमांड कर रहे हैं कि इसेंशियल सर्विसेज में जो इन्होंने एजुकेशन को नहीं रखा, और टीचर्स के लिए जो 20 लाख करोड़ का पैकेज भी आया, उसमें अगर टीचर्स के लिए सिर्फ 20th प्रायोरिटी में भी एजुकेशन को रखते तो शायद ये लॉस नहीं होता। जो पेरेंट्स से हमें चैलेंजिंग सिचुएशन फेस करनी पड़ी, उसका अल्टीमेट जो असर पड़ा वो एजुकेशन पे पड़ा, और गरीब बच्चे की एजुकेशन पे पड़ा। गरीब बच्चे की एजुकेशन में ना वो ऑनलाइन पढ़ सका, ना उसके पास गैजेट्स थे, ना उसके पास इंटरनेट का ऐसा कनेक्शन था। तो जो एक लर्निंग गैप के साथ साथ जो एजुकेशन का गैप एक एलीट क्लास और एक जो इकोनॉमिकली वीकर क्लास के अंदर आया, ये भी एक बहुत डेंजरस चीज रही। और इसके लिए सबसे ज्यादा जो रोल, अगर इम्पोर्टेंट रोल मैं मानूंगा, मेरे पैनलिस्ट ही मानेंगे, बजट प्राइवेट स्कूल्स के टीचर ने बिना सैलरी के काम किया, 50% सैलरी पे काम किया, जॉब्स भी खोए, लेकिन इसमें जो पूरी हिम्मत से काम किया। और पेरेंट्स के बहुत ज्यादा चैलेंजिंग सिचुएशन जो है बजट, उन्होंने उनके आगे रिवोल्ट नहीं किया, उनके आगे नारे नहीं लगाए, उन्होंने ना फीस दी, ना उन्होंने ऑनलाइन क्लास ज्वाइन की। तो ये बहुत बड़ी सिचुएशन से जो है मैनेजमेंट्स को गुजरना पड़ा। नेक्स्ट ईयर तो अब ये और प्रॉब्लम आ रही है कि वो ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन को एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं अब करना चाहते। एक साल तो उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, इस साल उनको लग रहा है कि ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन एक बेटर सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं है। तो ये आगे और परिस्थिति जो है मैनेजमेंट के लिए, बजट प्राइवेट स्कूल के मैनेजमेंट के लिए खड़ी होने वाली है।
Thank you, sir. So we've received some really interesting insights into the topic, that is the plight/opportunities of the school management during the pandemic. Thank you so much to each one of you for being here today. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, we come to the end of this interesting panel discussion. I hope we've given you enough insight into the plight of school managements during the pandemic. If you have any additional queries, do write to us and we'll be happy to take them offline. For more such videos, do log on to our website, the.enn.com, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. For now, signing off, Nitya.